So we're making some progress on this turbo here. I just welded this flange on because it's the wrong size, like I was saying, and I'm just gonna hope that that doesn't leak. There's not really a good way for me to weld the inside lip to be for sure that it won't leak, but I patched up all these holes here and I got a pretty good weld all the way around. Patched up a few spots that I questioned, but hopefully that does it. It looks like my mid pipe is not going to work because it basically touches where this guy sits. So I'm thinking I'll cut it back a little bit and hopefully I can just cut the flange off of this guy. I got to figure out how I'm going to run my O2 sensors, or my O2 sensor and my AFR gauge. So there's a lot that I got to think about right now. It's a little bit stressful, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, so pretty much how it sits in the shit's still really hot. Let me put my glove on. But so it sits like this in there, obviously upright, and then the exhaust will have to come out and then down. And I only have a 90 and a straight, and I think that I'll have to do a few pie cuts in this to get the proper angle that I need to do something with it. I might chop up some of this pipe over here that has a bung on it, but that's like 2-inch, and I don't want to drop down from 3 to 2 or 2.5 or whatever that is. So yeah, this is just something that I'm gonna have to figure out. And I don't even, like, I gotta put my coolant lines and stuff on there, so then I'm gonna have to figure out how to route that. There's just a lot that goes into this, and I haven't even thought about my wastegate yet, because this thing, I'm missing the, first off, this is an 18-pound spring, and I ordered a 14.5, just like an atmosphere strength spring right here, but that shit's not gonna fit. They just sent me this big ass spring that I have no use for now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably just cut this spring a little bit to give it less pressure, and then I have a boost controller, so if I go too low, then it's not really that big of a deal. I'll just use the boost controller. So I'm making a fair bit of progress on the welding. So far, this is what I have. So pretty much this part hooks up to the side of the turbo, drops down, goes around, and then I have to make another 90 in order to have something like this. And then I have to cut the mid pipe in order to make this flange line up so I can attach my stock exhaust. Well, not stock, but my original exhaust. And I don't have to run a open dump. I can hook up all my sensors and everything will be wonderful. So here we are. I just got the down pipe tacked to the turbo. I'm not sure how the fuck I'm gonna get this in there, to be honest with you. I really wish that this flange would have just been the right one, because then I could have created something that I could detach from the turbo, but now it's gonna be permanently one unit. So I definitely was not able to squeeze it in there when it was fully attached, so I just ended up cutting 2 flanges off of some exhaust shit that I had, and it'll bolt right up. It added like another 1.5 inches of gap, so when I last checked it was off by like a little bit. So we're gonna see, but it should just bolt right up now. I don't even know. I'm gonna go give it a shot though. So here's where we're at. I just made some adjustments to this pipe, so now it doesn't make contact with this part anymore, which is a clip for some harnesses. And here's my connecting pipe. So the way it is currently oriented like this, you can see there's a slight gap there, and that's because it is making contact right here. I don't have my light on, so I don't know how visible that is, but what I'm planning on doing is rotating that center joint right here. This guy, if you can see that, I'm gonna rotate it maybe a couple degrees counterclockwise, and then that'll give it enough rotation to clear that part of the undercarriage. So this part clears, it's not hitting anything. It's pretty close to that harness, but I can tuck that away a little bit. It's not that tight, so I'll just pull that down, and then yeah, I can get this guy bolted on. And I'm not gonna fully weld it until I get the wastegate pipe all sorted out, just in case we have any issues like I was saying. But here's where we're at. It's a little ugly right now, but once I get it welded up, it should be a little less hard to look at. So let me get to that. Check this shit out. So hold on. Check this out. This is awesome. So got my downpipe from the turbo. Look at this, dude. This is awesome, man. So hooks up to the turbo, comes down, and look at that fitment. That is just perfect. Straight down the tunnel. So I got the main downpipe sorted out. Now I have to figure out how I'm gonna get a wastegate dump down here. So that should be interesting to deal with, to say the least. But we're making good progress. I'm liking how this is looking. Beautiful. So I just got my wastegate dump all welded up, well, tacked up. It looks like it's gonna clear everything. It could be a little longer right here. Yeah, next step is just getting this turbo clocked and oriented properly and getting the lines hooked up, and then I can work on getting this mid pipe lined up with that and connected to that. I'm probably just gonna need to use some extra piping that I have laying around to get it to reach this out. Getting everything all hooked up right now, but I got my piping in here welded up. It's lines up pretty good. Got the wastegate dump right here. I'm just hooking up oil lines right now, and then I gotta hook up the coolant lines, put the axles in, put the battery in, fill the transmission, put the radiator in, fill the radiator and the coolant, and then I'm ready to go, pretty much. So we're almost getting there. I'll probably start it by tomorrow. It's my estimate. I have my exhaust hooked up here, and my dump tube. All of that is tightened and secure, as well as my oil feed and drain lines. Don't mind the long ass oil feed line. It's the only one I could find. However, it will work for now. I got my coolant lines hooked up, feed and return, and I have pretty much everything hooked up to the turbo. I got a few vacuum lines to deal with, but fact of the matter is everything is tightened on the turbo, and what I'm working on right now is getting my exhaust center section frabbed up.
Somebody told me that this planet was small. We used to live in the same building on the same floor, and never met before until I'm overseas on tour. And peep this Ethiopian queen from Philly taking classes abroad. She's studying film and photo flash focus record. Says she working on.
Hey YouTube, so it's 3:36 a.m. and we are sitting here fully pretty much ready to start it up. All I need to do right now is add my transmission and coolant fluid, and then I'm going to do a first start. Do be aware that it is not in the state that I would feel comfortable driving. However, it is in a state where I would feel comfortable starting it up for the first time. So I don't remember what I recorded last, but I got the turbo bolted on. Everything's tight. I got the boost lines, the vacuum lines hooked up. Batteries in, ECU is in, fuse box is in, intercooler piping is in. I had to make one singular cut down here to make it work, so it went perfectly as planned. I think I'm missing a clamp on one of the intercooler pipes, but it should be fine just to idle and turn on, which is really all I was shooting for tonight. A little low on some fluids, but like I was saying, it should be good just to start up. And then tomorrow what I'm going to do is button everything up and hopefully get it tuned by tomorrow evening. I'll let my tuner know that I'm ready and pay him some money, and we'll have this thing running and driving. And then I'm going to drive it for a day or so just to make sure that nothing breaks and that I'm safe to drive all the way down to Utah, which is roughly 8 hours or more, I forget. So I'm going to add the fluids now, and then we'll get back to you with the first start. So this is the first start on the brand new motor. Yup. Yup. Let's go, dude. Oh my. 60 mil turbo. Spooling up. What do you know about it? Idling great. Oil pressure's up there. Let's go, dude. This is monumental. This is history. Yup. Yup. Let's go, dude. So I believe we left off last with our first start, and since then I've taken care of a few things that I needed to. I'm getting it to the point where I can take it around the block and test drive it. I don't have a tune on it yet. I just have the tune from my last setup. And I don't know how that's going to be with the 50-degree cam gear, but I'm going to keep it under 3,000 or 4,000 RPM and drive it just very gently and carefully. I just need to get the wheels turning and make sure that nothing interacts with the way that it drives. But I'm just buttoning up a few things, and then we'll take it for a first drive. This thing's sitting so long, it has cobwebs on it. That's how you know it's bad. But she's awake. All right, so I got the laptop out here. As you can see, everything's on here. Let's see. So, as you can see now, I got all my stuff here. Just to mainly check the coolant temperature, because that's mostly what I'm worried about. But I'm gonna set the camera up like this, and hopefully it doesn't fall over. But I'm keeping an eye on the oil pressure and everything. This is the first time behind the wheel of this